Hi, welcome. It's time for my campaign update and town hall today. And I am Susan Maud Buxer-Lahaki, or Susan Buxer for short, and I am a candidate for President of the United States. Welcome. Now, as you know, I have a lawsuit pending with the Supreme Court. It's still there, and I'm waiting to hear back. I have not heard a thing, so they still have it. And that's where my lawsuit is right now. So I'm waiting. Then, yeah, I'm all caught up in my FEC filings for now, for my presidential account. And basically, I'm trying to keep up with the news of what's going on coming out of Washington, D.C., so that you know where I stand on the issues. So, recently it became apparent that to me that I believe Elon Musk possibly wants to have a lot of robots, so humanoids, walking around in the United States and quite possibly all over the planet by 2040. And so right now we're in 2025. So that's 15 years from now. And, you know, I have to admit that robots can be a help, but I don't think we want to go there. Because if we eventually overtake the planet with robots, where are the people going to be? What's going to happen with humanity? And I think what's better is to make bionic body parts that humans could wear to give them more strength and more power and more possibilities, rather than creating whole new humanoid creatures. I don't think we need to go there. I don't think we're ready for it either. But I think there's a better use of robotics than to create whole entire beings that will outperform humans and possibly put us out of business. We're sort of signing our death warrant, in my opinion, if we go with this Elon Musk concept. So I am deeply concerned with that. I am all for creativity. But it needs to be tamed and it needs to be contained sometimes. Sometimes creativity can go in a bad direction. And I think what he proposed is a bad direction. We need to enhance humans. We need to give us more strength and speed and maybe leaping capabilities or climbing capabilities. But what we don't need is to create more humanoids than there are humans. No. I don't agree with that, Elon. I don't like that idea. I don't want to stifle science and creativity, but we're just not simply ready for that. Absolutely not. And if that's some place that you are trying to take our country, I'm sorry. You're fired. Our Earth is for humans, not for robots. Then medical insurance. I think I finally figured out what the problem is. You know, we got a lot of medical insurance CEOs who are taking home big bonuses because, you know, they get the profits and the shareholders get the profits. But the people paying into the system don't get the profits. And there's no need, we are a big country, there is no need to have national insurance plans. No need. We should have state insurance plans, and then we should have maybe even county insurance plans, so that the money stays as close to the people as possible. So when you're paying all this money into an insurance plan for medical insurance, you know, monthly you spend anywhere from maybe $100 to up to $700, or maybe even more, depending if you're a family, on insurance payments, medical insurance payments. And then from that, then you even have to pay possibly a little bit more, a deductible, to get your health treatments paid for. And this is just outrageous. It's outrageous. And the CEOs of these big conglomerates, they know it. And the medical industry and the pharmaceutical industry know it also. And they are cashing in big time. And they are declaring you're sick when you're not. They are asking you to take all sorts of tests that were not even available or needed 50 years ago. So why are they suddenly needed now? And this is causing prices of health insurance to skyrocket out of proportion. It's causing doctors to also charge astronomical amounts for minimal procedures, and drug companies too. So this is my suggestion. We're going to break up the big monopolies of medical insurance plans out there. We're going to move to a more county-centered insurance plan where you pay some money into the insurance plan, and then you get health benefits. You go to the doctor, and if there's something wrong, you go to the doctor. If there's nothing wrong, you don't have to go to the doctor. And you get yourself checked up, and if everything is okay, or whatever the cost might be, they will be contained within what that insurance plan can afford. Now, sometimes you might have to leave your county to get special medical treatments. The county will then pick up from the extra money that they've collected over the year. They will use that money to help you go out of town to get your treatment. But again, the cost of treatments have to be within a reasonable range. It should not be profitable to take somebody's temperature and charge $20 for that. This is, there are insane prices for some of these very simple treatments, and some of them are not even necessary. So, and then drug costs are super high. They also need to come down. Now, ultimately, what we really need is to, everything is tied together, as you know. And our food products are not the best quality anymore. We're using all sorts of things to produce food, but sadly, it's lacking a lot of nutrition. And this is where the problem lies. So I want to move growing food more locally everywhere in our country, so that even young children in elementary school, in like 6th grade, 7th grade, that they can go and participate in the local farm and learn how to grow food. Right now, we don't have anything like that. It's all grown out in the Midwest. Hardly anybody knows how to do any of that anymore, and it's time to change our ways. We need humans with skills that are life-protecting skills. And by bringing home, making of food, we're reducing the travel time, we're increasing the quality because it's homegrown, right near you, and there's a lot less cost involved, plus perhaps even you're assisting in growing it. So we've done some really dumb things, our country, and it's time to change those. So I was driving out in the Midwest, and we got lots of prairies now, and not a lot of trees. And I'm going to assume that when people headed west, they started cutting down the trees and building homes and using the rest for firewood. And nobody replanted trees. They just kept going. And this is a huge problem, because the next step after the prairie is a desert. So I am needing every state of the union to plant trees, especially evergreen trees. We desperately need trees, especially in the plains areas. Plant trees before it's too late. Now. This is going to be the year of the tree in the USA. That's what I want to see. I want to see you plant trees now, this year, in April, and get them growing before we have desert everywhere. And I want to bring farming back locally to the communities, and medicine locally to the communities, especially the insurance, because if everybody pays into medical insurance, but nobody's really sick, instead of letting that money go to the CEO's pocket, we can put it into the schools, we can put it into the roads, we can put it into public works in your community, in your county. Doesn't that make more sense than giving it to a Wall Street CEO who's just not doing anything at the top? I mean, the easiest job in the world is probably to be a medical insurance CEO. You just sit there and everybody pays money, and you know, you just if there's leftover money, it's yours to take home. I mean, we need to stop these monopolies. It's ridiculous. So medical insurance will move closer to home. Farming will move closer to home. We'll have little farmer markets everywhere where people can also be proud. The young kids can also be proud that they helped to grow the tomatoes and the corn that mommy and daddy are buying, right? So it's a good way to connect the community again and to bring back family-oriented activities, as well as teach the children how to survive in case something might happen. I think today's kids, they've never been to a farm. They don't know how to grow wheat or corn or tomatoes. And it's up to us, the grown-ups, to show them how. So it's time to turn the tables, move to a closer-knit community in all communities, and start learning how to live closer to home. We don't need big trucks on the highways taking things from one side of our country to the other. I mean, I know the truckers like to drive, and I don't blame them, but we really don't need to live from one coast to the other coast anymore. We got so much land and so many places. What I need the truckers to do is to be out there sort of protecting the public, letting the highways know that there's a pothole or that there's something on the roadway. But really taking things from one side of the country to the other, I think it's a waste of their time. I know it's a great job, but I think it's a waste of their time. It ruins our roads because we need then extra big machines to do it. And it pollutes as well. So I really think there's got to be another way. And I think that moving more locally will save a lot of extra steps that we just don't need, that cause food prices to go high. It should also, my plan, bring down food prices because things will be grown closer to home. Now, we can already build greenhouses and get some things going in every community right now. I know in a lot of states it's still cold and, it's not really growing temperatures, but in a greenhouse you can grow at this time. You can grow all kinds of things. In fact, with a greenhouse you can grow year-round, depending on the quality of the greenhouse, of course. So, I would be telling people to get started on this. Every town, every community, every county, start growing some vegetables. Get the schools involved to learn about how to plant and grow vegetables, especially the 5th, 6th, 7th graders. It's a perfect time to learn about how to grow and how things grow and how to do it. Then, as far as so health-wise goes, I would like to really promote healthy eating and healthy lifestyle. With a healthy lifestyle, you can still do many, many things. But the idea is that unhealthy people should not be allowed, well, allowed is the wrong word. Unhealthy people need to be shown that it's okay to be healthy. I think that's the best way to put it. We all reach rough patches once in a while and maybe do some unhealthy behaviors. But people who are chronically unhealthy, these people need to seek medical help and attention, and they need to be able to overcome their unhealthy habits so that they are not a burden on society. So if somebody is a chronic drinker and they need a new liver or kidney or something, they should not take precedent over somebody who has a birth defect who needs a liver or a kidney. Because the chronic alcoholic knows that drinking so much is bad. They did it to themselves. Whereas the person born with the defect was born that way. They couldn't change it. So people who are trying to slowly commit suicide, like an alcoholic, they should not get first choice to organs. And in fact, as you know, I'm really not pro-organ transplants, because I know transplants, first off, they might not take anyways. So you may get a transplant, but then your body reacts badly to it, and then you die. Or if it does work, it might last 1 year, 3 years, usually maximum 10 years, and then you need another one. So, people who are chronically trying to kill themselves through drinking too much alcohol should not get a transplant actually at all, in my opinion. I have no sympathy for chronic alcoholics. You're a grown person usually, and if you're drinking so much that your liver or kidney is bad, then, if you don't have any faith in your own life, why should the rest of us have to pay for your own life? It's up to you, the owner of the body, to take care of the body. It's not up to me and everybody else, all your neighbors, to take care of your body. That's up to you. It's your body. You do what you want with it. And if drinking a lot is what you want to do, well, then do that. But then you should not be eligible for a transplant, because that's self-sabotage that you're doing. And it costs a lot of money. And sadly, organs are very expensive, but they can also yield a good profit if you're on the other side. And sadly, people are being killed on purpose so that their organs can be harvested. And a healthy person should not be killed so that somebody who is a chronic alcoholic gets a new liver or a kidney. That is the worst of society. So I will be starting a organization to really help people get themselves back into a fit way of life. Doesn't mean you're going to be, an Olympic athlete. I just want you fit. And if you don't want to get fit, that's okay, but then you shouldn't be allowed to get certain benefits either. Is that wrong to say? It sounds pretty harsh, but I think it makes sense in the long run. We need to stop people from being killed for their organs, and the only way to do that is to stop alcoholics from getting organs from perfectly healthy people that have been killed so they could get an organ. I don't like what has happened in the USA over the last 40 years with this whole organ donating concept. Everyone needs to have that removed from their driver's license. It's unsafe. Absolutely unsafe. And I'm sorry, this is like not the happiest video I've made in a long time, but sometimes we have to have these talks, right? So just to keep the theme going a little bit, and I know I've said this in the past, so many people walk around saying the USA is the richest country in the world. And I just want to really reiterate once again, we are not the richest country in the world. We have the biggest economy in the world. That means we sell a lot of things and we buy a lot of things. We are the shoppers of the world. Everyone can sell their products here. We really don't restrict a lot of things, and that's good and bad. We get to see what other countries are selling, right? But on the other hand, they also give us a lot of garbage that isn't selling in their country. So then they send it over here. And sadly, we got people who are buying it. So we need to also work on our people and their spending habits. We need to turn from a economy, the biggest economy of the world, to one that's medium quality. You know, we don't have to be the biggest economy. I would much rather be the biggest savers in the world, you know, people who put their money in the bank and don't buy things on credit. That's what we should be focusing on. Teaching people how to put money aside for a rainy day. That's more important. Because, you know, if that rainy day never comes, and, you know, it's 10 years down the road, and you got 10,000 or more in your, maybe even $1 million, depending on what you do for a living, you know, then you can really spend a little bit and enjoy it, right? But if you never put money aside for a rainy day, you'll never have that rainy day fund. And then, you know, we have problems. But what I've noticed is a lot of people are like their countries. And we're a country that is extremely in debt. And so, you know, we can't expect more from our own citizens because the country is leading a bad example for the citizens. And, you know, Elon Musk, I have good and bad feelings about him. What I do like is that this U.S. aid, things that are going on there. I had no idea we were giving money to a Swiss religious group, and then they were going to be giving it someplace else. But Switzerland's not a U.S. state, so why are we giving them money? And why are we giving it to a religious group? I mean, you know, Switzerland's one of the richest countries on the planet. So why are we sending them any money? And especially to a religious organization. A Christian religious organization, by the way. So I have some problems with where we're spending money. And as you know, with my election reform concept, we will be giving you, the people, more of a choice over where money and how money is spent. This is unacceptable. You know, we're giving money to one of the richest countries on the planet. Don't they have their own government they can go ask for money? I don't know. So we are not the richest country. The richest country on the planet currently is Luxembourg. And for some reason we like to pretend that we're rich, but we're not. And at best, you know, yeah, there are parts of the country that are pretty high standard and some that are very low standard. And we need to bring up the low standard to a certain level before we can really move forward as a whole country, I think. We got some laggers, people who really, towns that just don't care. Can they be that way? Well, not with public roads anyways. Public roads need to be taken care of. And it's not acceptable for public roads to go with potholes and other issues. There's no excuse. Congress is supposed to be in charge of taking care of postal roads. So that's pretty much all the public roads, the U.S. Congress. And so the potholes should not be, but yet they are. But on the other hand, Congress is also in charge of this U.S. aid stuff, and we're sending money to Switzerland who doesn't have potholes because their government takes care of the post office roads like it's supposed to. So, folks, this wrecking ball called Donald Trump is working. I don't agree with everything he does, especially with the Gaza stuff that he was talking about. I don't know what he's thinking there. But in some cases, he's doing good. And I guess that's all we can all hope about. None of us are perfect. None of us get it 100% correct the first time. So I do agree with some of Donald Trump's activities right now, and I don't agree with some of them. And I guess that's what you need to know for now. The last thing I want to mention is that back in the 1880s, recently I was informed by someone about a peacock feather. Somebody who lived back then had a peacock feather in their house. And they were claiming it meant that the person was worldly and whatever, had traveled some. Well, I know for a fact that back in those days, it actually meant you were a gay man. And back then, it was not acceptable to be openly gay. Most openly gay, or most gay men back in the day of 1880s had a family, had a wife and children, and then they had their male friends. And this particular person not only had a peacock feather in his house, but he had a little man cave the guy was telling us about outside. And whenever he was upset, this person, he would shout and, make all this hoopla and everything. And then he would disappear to his man cave outside. This peacock feather owner. I don't know. 1 and 1 together is 2. So I think, and of course everybody in the family knew that when this person was in this state and went out to his man cave outside, that he was not to be disturbed. I don't know. Or am I the only one who have lights going off in my head? So anyway, yeah. I mean, nothing against gay people. I mean, I like people who can come out of the closet and be authentic. Especially people who are not in the traditional male-female relationship. But back then, there was no room for coming out of the closet, so you had no choice but to do it this way. So you had the symbol of the secret code, the peacock feather, and then whenever people were around, then there were these man caves to go to. Oh, the things us women have had to endure in marriage, in society. And sadly, too, even for men, it's also sad because they did not feel comfortable coming out of the closet. It would have saved a lot of abuse and a lot of mental health issues if people would let people be themselves. There's nothing wrong with being gay, lesbian, or any of the other variations on those terms. It's quite normal. Everyone should feel comfortable in their own skin. And I'm sorry for anyone who does not feel comfortable. With that said, I'm going to say you need to read a book. And it's by one of my favorite authors. Where is it? Oh, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. It's an old book from 1984. And it's been reprinted many times. Sorry, my power is going out in my RV, so I'm going to end quickly. But get the book and get some help for your heart and your soul. Okay, if you are still in the closet and you can't come out, there are ways to heal. So on that note, I think I'm going to end now. And we don't need robots like this, Elon. Nope. I mean, I like some of your work, you know, going through and finding where all of our money's going. That's good. But I like humanity. Give me humans over robots any day. All right. So on that note, that's the end of my town hall and campaign update. I am Susan Maud Buxer-Lahaki, or Susan Buxer for short. If you want to find out more about me and my campaign and my lawsuit, go to my website, which is susan4usa.com. That's Susan, the number 4, usa.com. And that's it for now, so have a good day wherever you are. Bye for now.